Hey there, it's JohnBerry555 and welcome to my full review of The Mandalorian Chapter 21. So this is the 5th episode of the 3rd season, the episode being entitled The Pirate. So what happens in this episode? Well, pirates attack Navarro. Pretty simple. So Grief Karga sends a message out to New Republic actually requesting for help. Specifically, that one New Republic pilot, I forget his name, that we saw in the previous season as Pacific Point in contact. And he then, because he was back basically from command, he goes personally to Coruscant to request permission to go help Navarro. He doesn't get it. And this is actually, he gives a line from the trailer where that basically the New Republic, the Code, doesn't know what's going on in the Outer Rim. Him being though, he does, and we've seen this Republic pilot several times as well. And actually, this time we get to see him with another familiar character. And you guess this? I mean, I can't believe it. I was like, that sounds a lot like Zeb. Check the credits, it's the same voice actor. So yes, Zeb makes an appearance in live action. I can't believe they actually did that. And that's what I alluded to in my spoiler review, could be setting up the Ahsoka show a little bit, because Ahsoka was in Rebels, so was Zeb. But another character making the jump from animation to live action. But I'm getting ahead of myself there. But I just really love that little tidbit, that little bit of the scene though. Even though I can't remember the past name, that's not the important part. His name, sure, it might be good for me to remember, but it's not important to the plot, because what he decides to do is he decides to track down the Mandalorians to get them to help liberate Navarro from the pirates, who basically forced Grief Karga and all the citizens, well, not all, some of them didn't make it in time, to evacuate. Some, like a bartender, like, got stuck behind, for example. But that's, and you know how the New Republic found it? All five. Like, I honestly did not expect that to happen, but he mentioned that a member of the Cold Force was served with him in the rebellion. Like, all the men started looking at each other, and all five just moves forward, and he just thinks all five. Like, I just love that little scene right there, because, yeah, it does kind of make sense, especially with what we know about all five. And yes, I have it over there, but yes, all five had a point of view book, and from a certain point of view for the original one back for the 40th anniversary of A New Hope. But that's neither here or there, because, well, the Mandalorians have basically a council. Din speaks, and then Paz Vizsla speaks. Din obviously in support of helping Grief Karga and the citizens of Navarro. But when Paz Vizsla first stands up and he begins speaking, like, he's going to say no. But then he turns it around and says why they should go help, because it is such a good thing, and then at the end they all give and Cecile this is a way, like, truly, helping other people, like establishing the good, like I was saying in the previous episode, but really establishing what probably the Mandalorian Creed should be focused on. Not the dumb archaic rules like, do you need to keep your helmet on? Not that kind of stuff, but really, the community and helping each other. That's what this scene was all about. And I kind of liked how they used one of the Armor's helmets as basically a stick, whoever's holding it gets to speak. I just thought that was just a little neat thing to help to show the sense of community, and how when they were planning having these kinds of councils, there's an order of it, so everyone has a chance to speak, but also everyone knows who is speaking. Actually, not a bad idea when you think about it. But so the Mandalorians go and help the citizens of Navarro, and they defeat the pirates. Only one pirate escapes, and that's being like the first officer. And I'm pretty sure there's some connection to what's going on with the Empire, because the New Republic pilot, he's convinced something more is going on in the Empire, somehow connected. Because he wasn't sure because like mentioned a couple episodes ago in the converse, there was rumors that Moff Gideon never made it to trial, and this New Republic pilot has heard the same thing. So he's convinced something more is going on, hence why he wanted to stop the pirates, because he thinks they could be getting some backing from the Empire, the Imperial remnants. And as we know from Star Wars Resistance, the First Order was not beyond using pirates to attack stations and places of interest. So we could be seeing that kind of play out here, but no one's really put the pieces together yet. Some people are trying, but not everyone is succeeding. I mean, there's a nice little connection there, and I really do appreciate how. No, before one thing I already mentioned from Star Wars Rebels. Well, here's a similar tactic being sought. We're thinking a similar tactic is being used that we saw in Star Wars resistance using pirates to maybe get people to flock back to the Empire. Oh, the First Order in some case. But I can see how it's all building these pieces together, and I really appreciate it. It's bringing all these desperate elements. The elements from what would have been the Rangers of the New Republic. It's like it's all coming together. Now, it does seem like, though, probably the biggest fault is Din and Grogu are getting sidelined in their own show. It really does feel like that, especially when we see the conversation that Bo-Katan and the armor had, where the armor told Bo-Katan she can take her helmet off because she walks both ways, and the idea and like the armor wants her to help bring Mandalorians there and help reunite all the Mandalorians together, like, which obviously is appealing to Mandalorian, to Bo-Katan, and also kind of confirms that the armor does believe that Bo-Katan saw a missile. So I still think the titular Mandalorian is probably going to end up being Grogu. I'm just saying, but he's still a toddler right now. Other people have to create the way for him, lead the way for him until he is old enough. I'm just saying. But Mandalorian Jedi coming up. That's my prediction. But yeah, I do find it very interesting. But at the same time, a lot of what's happened to Bo-Katan, she's not displaying agency in these decisions for her. But at the same time, I think that does fit with everything. Like, pretty much the only thing she had agency of is rescuing Din. Everything else she's just been coasting along. But even then, like, the plot is happening around her and to her. She's not making decisions yet that are truly impacting the plot. Except for coming up with a plan to rescue Paz with the sun, which probably helped Paz support them going to rescue the citizens of Navarro. And then they all, as a reward, get a pretty nice track of land, with apparently one of the features marking the land being named after the actor that played Boba Fett in the original trilogy. But one thing I'm thinking is, because let's remember, when we first saw her, and I said this in my review, she appears to have some form of depression. And so I think in many ways right now she's going through the motions. So perhaps her character journey will be learning to take action for herself once again. But that's just a thought, I could be wrong. But all this is kind of, like I said earlier, sidelining Grogu and Din. Why is that? They're gonna be important. It's their show after all. But perhaps it's because there has, like, basically a status quo has been established for them. Din has gotten redeemed, which is what he wanted, and Grogu is still young training. So until Grogu is old enough, and thus, or should I say, until Grogu is speaking, where he could potentially recite the creed and get his helmet, I don't think anything story-wise or development-wise can happen to them yet. Because their story is about the relationship with each other. It's about their father-son bond. So really, until the creed comes up again and Grogu can get a helmet and take the creed, there is nothing driving them apart anymore. Granted, I have a suspicion that if things had gone slightly differently in some behind-the-scenes stuff, the horror we saw in the book Boba Fett with Din and Grogu reuniting would have happened in this season. It would have been stretched out a little bit differently. Canceling of Rangers of the New Republic, I think, really affected how they were going to tell some of their stories in the sequel, between the original sequel trilogies. So I do want to acknowledge that that's probably a possibility that's creating this kind of real gap in the story, because I have a feeling the story we're getting right now with the Mandalorians as a whole, with the New Republic, and Moff Gideon and all that, I have a feeling all that was going to be told in Rangers of the New Republic. Maybe not necessarily all the Mandalorian stuff, but be told there, but because of the canceling of that show, they've had to change their production order around and where stories are told. And so I think that's creating some dissonance between the different story elements in the shows. But even despite that, they're doing a pretty good job trying to bring them all together. Like I mentioned in my spoiler-free review, all these different plot elements that they are shoving into the show, they are bringing together. But I do hope we do get something, even in cinema too, that helps flesh out some of the stuff like Din and Grogu were doing when they were separate. Because I have a feeling that was the original plan for season 3. But I feel like I'm rambling off on that. Probably should talk about the ending with Moff Gideon. Well, he doesn't appear, but the New Republic platform, apparently he's on a patrol and finds a old Lambert-class shuttle that's been destroyed. Turns out it was a New Republic prison transport, specifically the one that Moff Gideon was on. And they send him and his droid, which actually probe is from his droid, like the scope like we see on R2D2, but now goes in to scout the shuttle, and apparently there's traces of Mandalorian Beskar. So that implies that Mandalorians rescued Moff Gideon. Of course, Mandalorians are fast right now. So one, we know that Moff Gideon's Imperial Remnant had access to Beskar. We also know that Moff Gideon probably looted Mandalore, and we also know that there are Mandalorians who are scattered. So either Imperials using or Imperial Remnant using Mandalorian equipment and armor, or it could be some Mandalorians hired by the Imperial Remnant to rescue Moff Gideon, or it could be something else. Some Mandalorians wanted Moff Gideon killed, so they could have destroyed his shuttle and are putting him on trial where they're going to execute him. I mean, it's all different possibilities. But that could also create some friction between Mandalorians and the New Republic, which could then go on to explain why in the sequel trilogy we don't see any Mandalorians helping the New Republic or the Resistance. Maybe some bad blood was created between those two societies. It's a possibility, but so I'm adding this in post because I forgot to mention this and it is kind of important. So when New Republic pilot was speaking with Zeb about going to about the message from Grief Karga and all that, one of the characters on the side, it looked like it's Dave Filoni. I checked the credits. Yep, it was Trapper Wolf, the New Republic pilot that he played a few episodes back in season 1 and season 2. But this New Republic pilot, whose name I just looked up, which is Captain Carson Trevor. Good thing I looked that up because I couldn't remember during the main recording. But anyhow, when he's speaking with the New Republic Recreations Officer and all that on Coruscant, a certain somebody appears there. Yes, that's right. I forget her name, but that Imperial Communications Officer, who I'm pretty much convinced is a plant by Moff Gideon in the New Republic. She's the one who scrambled Dr. Pershing's brain. Well, I presume his brain is now scrambled since he didn't appear. But I just kind of wanted to make this little addendum, tacking it on at the end of the video. Just kind of addressing those kind of plot points that I have forgot to mention, but I think are kind of important to what's going forward. Okay, the Dave Filoni cameo of Chopper Wolf, that's just a minor thing. Though apparently, a few other directors have also made an appearance looking at the guest starring, but that's really just a minor thing, because I really wanted more than anything to mention how I'm pretty sure Moff Gideon has a plant in the New Republic and is encouraging the New Republic's apathy, if you will. The idea that these people, they're outside the Republic, we don't need to help them, which would help the Imperial Remnant or maybe the First Order's cause as well. But that's just a little bit I wanted to add on before I finished up my review. So let's go finish it up, and I'll see you guys in another time. There is so much coming together that I think we're in store for some very exciting and suspenseful action-packed episodes. But in the meantime, let me know your thoughts on the pirate in the comment section down below. I know I didn't talk about the pirates too much, but I did appreciate how it's being alluded to that these pirates are on the payroll of the Imperial Remnant or Proto First Order, just like the pirates were in Star Wars Resistance. But in the meantime, I do hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please be sure to give it a like, upvote, and share. Also, consider subscribing to the channel and ringing that bell to stay up to date on all my latest Star Wars reviews. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and as always, every day, ignite wherever you are. This is the way.